It's so creepy that this video actually belongs more in like the Halloween series that I did. If you haven't watched that yet, make sure that you check it out. There was a playlist all about the Halloween series, but this is something that literally just happened, so I do want to share it, even though it's a little dark and it's a little bit creepy, so trigger warning there. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another video here on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. Thank you so much for joining me here again on this channel. So today we're going to be talking all about poltergeists and what makes them different than maybe like a typical, what we would think of as like a ghost. Are they ghosts? What are they exactly? And how to deal with it, like how to handle if you have an experience, how to know if you're having an experience, and what to do, kind of thing. Now this video is being born from an experience that I had this following week that just happened. And I was really surprised at the power and strength of this poltergeist that I experienced. And I thought that this definitely was something that I wanted to share because I really want everybody to understand how to protect themselves always. That's so important, to protect your energy and to protect your, because these kinds of things really drain you. They really feed on you, right? So to really make sure that you are clear and protected at all times and how to do that. So let's jump right in. But before we start, I just want to remind you to subscribe for new videos every single week here on this channel. Also, come give me a follow over on Instagram. There's a lot of different content that happens over there. A lot of really great content, like tips and tricks, a lot of information about spiritual business, awakening children, psychic gifts, and the psychic gift development. So make sure that you are following me over there as well. And then just a couple of announcements as we're jumping in. Don't forget that if you want to work with me, but you're not sure where to start, a membership is a great place to start. There is the adult membership with Starseed Academy membership, and then there's the family membership, which is new and so awesome. And it's called Awaken Kids, but it's actually for parents and their children that are awakening. And it's all ages. Welcome over there. We're having a blast over there, and I really see that space growing. Okay, so let's jump right in. So poltergeists. So there are basically two forms of these that you can run into. One would be like a soul that does die and passes on, but doesn't cross over into the light. Okay, so I tend to call those earthbound spirits. They're bound to the earth. They've chosen for whatever reason not to cross over, or they were too afraid to cross over, which is actually usually the case. And those are ghosts. Any ghost that is still, roaming the earth is an earthbound spirit. But what makes it become a poltergeist is when it becomes like very old, where it's been around for a long, long time, and also the level of negative emotions that are involved. So if this ghost, if this soul, it's still a soul, right, was a really angry person or a really violent person, or just like a darker personality, then they would have like a higher potential to become a poltergeist if they don't cross over. And that's really the key here, is that they don't cross over into the light. Okay. The other form, because I said there was two forms of poltergeist. So one is that human being that dies and does not cross over and is stewing in negative emotions, and that's what creates that. Because basically, just before I move on, actually, basically, if they're stewing in those negative emotions, they start to get pulled down. I've said this before in a video, but this feels like another really good time to repeat this. They can actually become dark entities, right? Some people use the word demons. Some people say dark entities. They're fairly similar in a way, just the strength of them. But basically, that soul that doesn't cross over, the longer that it stays here just wandering around, the more that it stews in its energies, it can actually be pulled down into a darker experience of itself, right? So a lot of dark entities I have experienced were actually ghosts that didn't cross over. So hopefully that makes sense. And you can stew in a negative emotion like anger and become a dark entity, which means you get pulled down lower than the fourth dimension, which is where ghosts exist. They can go down below the 3D into like some darker dimensions, right? And become that dark entity, which is a lot more of the shadow aspect. But it doesn't have to be just angry beings. This can also apply to shame, sadness, fear, grief, depression. Those are all super low energies as well, right? So I've seen this happen where somebody was so filled with grief over losing a child that they sunk down lower and lower and ended up becoming that dark entity. And they start to transform. Even if you were to if you were a clairvoyant and you could see spirit, you would see that they started to transform from what a ghost might actually look like the person that they once were, hazy and see-through and all that, but still pretty much look like them, sometimes even wearing the same clothes. But if they start to sink lower than that, they'll actually start to take on sometimes animalistic looks, claws, just really scary appearance of becoming more of that demonic or dark entity appearance. So that's the first form of a poltergeist. The second form is not starting as a ghost that sinks, just already being a dark entity. Okay, so something that is lower than fourth and third dimension, in that lower dimensions of darkness. And we all kind of know what dark entities are, right? They're souls that are having an experience, still souls, still beings that are having an experience because they have that consciousness in lower realms. And there's many reasons that people would choose to do that. If they don't start higher and sink down, there are many people that are choosing to experience themselves in these lower realms for really, really powerful lessons. Okay, so a dark entity or a soul that didn't cross over and then sank down into that, but basically it's dark. Okay, so the thing about a poltergeist is they have to actually attach themselves to something, because the whole description, a definition of a poltergeist is something that can interact with the physical realm. Okay, so think rattling doors, like throwing things. What else have we seen? Like changing the lights on and off, taps on and off, cupboards open, destroying things, basically, like throwing things around. And so in that way, they have a little more power than like a typical ghost, because they are able to physically move things around and even sometimes hurt people in that way. So they have to attach themselves to something like a doll, an item, a mirror, creepy, or like a location, but it's usually limited. Like if it's a large house, it's usually a spot in the house. So some kind of a limited location. And on the rare instance, yes, maybe a person, right? And that's a whole other video probably. But if they want to participate in the 3D realm, which means like move things around, then they have to be connected to something in the 3D realm, attached to something in the 3D realm. So they can attach themselves. I've seen a lot of like shows where they attach themselves to like dolls, creepy toys, pianos, furniture, objects. And in doing so, they keep themselves in the third dimension where they can do this poltergeist kind of activity. If not, they don't have enough substance otherwise, right? So that's why they cling or they attach to something that has substance, physical density, because they do not have substance or physical density. And without that attachment, they would almost just be invisible. You know what I mean? No power, totally invisible, like no one would even notice them. They'd have no power in that way. And the thing about these poltergeists that makes them also different than ghosts is it takes a firmer approach to clear them. And I learned that this week. So now we're into story time. Okay, I'm going to put my notes down. So something really creepy happened this week that I thought was important to share because it was so unknown and unexpected to me. I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across this video that had like a real feeling to it. And it wasn't theatrically scary. It was just very, very real. And I'll describe it, but please don't go searching for it until you hear what happened. Okay, you don't want to be watching this. So basically in this video, I feel like you need to at least know what was in it though. It was a family in a kitchen and someone was recording it on their phone, and it was a little girl's birthday. I think it was a girl, yeah, a little girl's birthday party. And they were kind of, around a table, and they were lighting up the cake and they were singing happy birthday to her. And then all of a sudden, the tap in the kitchen turns on. And this is all very not scripted, you could tell this is all just very like raw footage. And then all of a sudden the mom gets very upset and she says like, oh no, what's happening again? I knew we shouldn't have done this here. We shouldn't have tried to have the party here. And then the little girl, who's obviously experienced this before and in her home, starts to cry and runs to one of the adults to be hugged. And then it escalates. Oh, I'm getting chills even talking about it. Then it escalates from just the taps turning on to the cupboard doors start flying open. And then the cutlery drawer flies out and everything goes everywhere. And everybody starts to like freak out, get out, get out. We have to get out of this room, right? So you know how like reels sometimes loop and replay? I was like, whoa, like that looked really real. Let me check out the comments section, right? But as I'm reading through some of the comments where people also were agreeing, like, that's how is this not viral? This is the realest thing I've ever seen. You can, it's so clear, it's not blurry, it's not fake, you can just tell. It's like, it's the real deal. As I'm reading these comments, the video is continuing to loop and play in the background. And I suddenly got this really bad feeling in, I was holding my phone in my hand, in my hand, and like because I can sense energy and feel energy. Obviously, I'm very, very sensitive to that, or I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I felt like my phone feel different, and then something kind of come out of my phone. And immediately I like swipe and closed what I was on. And then within a second, I was already love and lighting my phone. Like, nope, I fill my phone with light. I fill my space with light. I do not participate. I do not consent. No, 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 no. No, right? And I was like, oh, ooh, that was creepy. Thinking, oh, I'm probably fine. I caught that in time. I did not. So what happened that night was right beside my bed, there's like a tall lamp kind of at the foot of my bed, but over on my side. And there's this really tall lamp that has like a lot of different settings for brightness and color and stuff. And so as I was falling asleep, trying to fall asleep after that experience, it really creeped me out. I remember having like the feeling of it. Oh, I had to actually doom scroll for a little while longer on some happy, like dog videos to feel like, whoa, okay, like so I could even fall asleep. And then as I was falling asleep, I was just getting to that place and falling asleep, and the light came on, the lamp that I was talking about. And I was like, sat up and I was like, that's weird. So I turned it back out with a remote that I have. Like I didn't have to get up and go near the light. I just turned it out with a remote and I went back to sleep. And then a few hours later, it came on again. And I was like, I knew it was being creepy. I was like, okay, why is the lamp acting creepy? What the hell is going on? So I turned it out again, and I think that and so then what I did, I turned it out again, and then of course I couldn't fall asleep because I was like, what's going on? So I called in Archangel Michael, and in my mind, with my eyes closed, tried to do like a clearing, right? So I'm visualizing Archangel Michael, please clear whatever this is. I'm not even sure what it is yet, if I'm just like making something bigger than it is. I'm like, please just clear my lamp. And if something did happen to like come through my phone, which is that even possible? I said to him, can you clear whatever that is? Like, let's just clear everything in this room. And I'm just kind of like falling back asleep as I'm doing this, right? And I think usually that's enough. That's normally more than enough to clear something, right? You just ask Archangel Michael, you visualize the light bathing whatever area of your home, yourself, your phone, the lamp in light. Good. Should have been fine. Should have been. But this was a stronger entity. So the next night, the next day, no, I wake up and I start having my day, and every time I walk into my bedroom to grab something, the light's back on and I keep turning it out. So eventually I just get frustrated and I unplug it, thinking maybe it's just, I don't know. You know, in the back of your mind, know it's something, but I'm thinking, no, maybe I just need to reset the light or something. I don't know. So I unplugged it for a little while, to be honest. And when it was unplugged, nothing happened. But then, at the end of the day, I use that light when it's getting dark in my room to change and all these things. So then I had to end up plugging it back in. So as I'm falling asleep, I'm thinking to myself, let's not have any shenanigans tonight. Okay. Let this be enough. Like, let me have done enough. Let this be my imagination or something. But sure enough, night number 2, I'm trying to fall asleep and the light comes on and I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, it's so late and I'm tired. So I do the same thing. I just try to repeat the same thing. Archangel Michael, can we clear? There's something going on with my lamp. Can you go check it out? Let me know. What is it? Like, what's going on basically. And then as I'm oh, and I forgot to say that time when it was about 2 in the morning on the second night when the light came on. And at 2 in the morning, I felt as the light came on, I felt like, that moment where you sit up in bed. So it was now affecting me. It wasn't just a light coming on and I'm just sleeping and then I wake up because the light comes on. There was a feeling attached to it now because I remember being like, oh, something like scared me and woke me up as the light came on at the exact same moment. Okay, so this is night number 2. It's 2 a.m. So I start to try to, like I said, just talk to Archangel Michael again. I'm tired. I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't have the effort in me to do more than this. Please just clear this. Oh my God. And I start to fall asleep again as one does when they're talking to Archangel Michael. He's got a very soothing presence. So I start to fall asleep again. But this time, as I'm starting to fall asleep, something like a thought, like a telepathic stream of thoughts enters into my mind that is not my thoughts. And I was in that wakey, sleepy stage and just starting to fall asleep. So it almost like waited for me for my guard to be down and then sent its thoughts into my mind. And I can't, because I was in a weird state, I can't remember the exact wording, but I can tell you that it was it was masculine, it was a male, and it was very firm with me. And it was telling me, like, this is what I am expecting of my environment if this is my new home. Like, I don't put up with this. I don't put up with this. I need it to be more like this. I think it talked about the temperature, the noise level, this. It was giving me directions, like trying to like get into my subconscious and give me the directions of how it preferred to exist. And that woke me up. And then I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And then I was pissed because like that felt so intrusive. And also it was acting like this really grumpy old grandfather who's like, you're going to do this, 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 and this. I expect this, this. And I was like, wow, okay. I've tried clearing it twice. And here it is telling me what to do in my own home. I don't think so. So that's where you have to pull out the big guns. So what I had to do was I turned on a different lamp because obviously it was still on. I'm not sure if I turned it off or left it on. I don't think it matters, but I turned on another lamp that I could rely on. And then I sat up in bed and I was like very firm and I claimed my space. This is my home. And you can visualize in your mind your lease or your mortgage papers or whatever. Like, this is my home, actually. I own this home and you are leaving. And you have to get very firm like that. And when you claim your space, it always works in these harder situations. So I visualized that this was my home, that energetically I own this home. And because of that, I can't tell it where to go, but I can tell it to leave, right? Now, here's the thing about crossing over souls that are not the sweet, nice ones that are happy to go into the light. You actually can't force a being into the light without creating karma for yourself because you are overstepping its free will. So I learned that in a whole other life. I think I've talked about that on this channel. I had an Egyptian lifetime where I was working under a priestess who was training us to do it the wrong way. And then when we came together in this lifetime, we all ended up in this Reiki group together. We were all having the same experiences, being really haunted as children, really experiencing a lot of karma because of that, where we felt like we were being like something was following us in a way for many years. So do not do that to yourself. Never force anything. And you're going to see a lot of people disagree with me on this. I know firsthand. Okay. I've seen lots of huge accounts talking about just force it into the light. Absolutely do not do that. However, claim your space. You can claim your home, your yard, like your lawn and everything, like your property. And then you can place wards around everything. So I got very, very firm. And again, with Archangel Michael there, but now sitting up and speaking out loud, that's key too. Speak out loud directly to it, not to Archangel Michael, to it. You speak directly to it. I know that you're here. I hear you speaking to me, and I do not appreciate it. And you are going to leave my home right now. Leave immediately. Leave. And then you can crack a little window. And then what I started doing was energy work where I was wrapping it up in light and then sending it out of the window. And then I got up off the bed and I started doing energy healing on the lamp. It clearly had attached itself to the lamp, by the way. That was the thing that it attached itself to. And I started to touch the lamp physically. I didn't start with that because that might have been a lot to start with. I started with the vocal leave immediately, the energy work from afar, and then I walked up to it. And then I started placing hands on the lamp and pulling anything that I thought and throwing it out the window. So I was doing firmness, claiming my space, energy work, and always Archangel Michael to back me up. Now, since then, there hasn't been anything. Fingers crossed. Okay, but I will let you know because it's important to understand that it can take more to clear something like that, okay? So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Before this gets too long, I'll sign off quickly here. I want you to know that things can come through your phone. That means things can come through your TV, your like I was gonna say radio, that's super old school, but whatever you listen to music on, whatever. Things can come through, and I've never had that experience before. And I don't know if I really believed that before it happened. I kind of just thought, no, like our house is so filled with love and light. All the amazing work I do in the higher dimensions, I never would have thought something could have come through, but it came through and immediately grabbed onto the first thing, which was the lamp right beside the bed, right? So, and then that's how it was anchoring itself, and that's how it was bothering me and playing its little tricks, right? So things can come through the phone. That wasn't even like some evil video, but the thing was about that video, please don't go searching for it because this will happen to you, or it might happen to you. But the thing is about that video is that it was real, right? A lot of stuff is just like for the, what's the word, like just for the drama of it. It's not actually real. It's not actually like a thing. But what I was watching, I could tell was very real. And I think that I hope that that video gets removed off the internet because I can't even imagine it had a lot of views. Imagine. The other thing I want you to know is not everybody is sensitive enough to energy to realize what just happened the way that I was, right? So that's where really training yourself in clairsentience and all of those kinds of things where you can feel energy is super important. And I worry that that is obviously not the only video that's probably doing that out there. How many times we're just scrolling in the middle of the night when we can't sleep? How many people aren't sensitive enough to know when something like that comes through? And how many people also don't know how to clear something that's a little more difficult to clear? So I just hope that this can help you to be more careful. If you see something weird in your home that is like relatable like that, like cupboards opening, taps turning on, lights going on and off, things being moved, that is a little bit harder to clear. And you need to be very firm and you need to speak out loud and you need to claim your space. You need to do the energy work. You need to throw it out the window. And then you need to visualize a light starting from within you that grows and fills up your whole house to push it out. And then grows and fills up also all of your property so that it's almost like there's a dome of light around your property that also like wards to protect that. If you are a member and you're watching this, inside the membership resources under clearing darkness, that category, there is a video called clearing and wards, I think. It has the word wards in it. So it helps you to know how to set up wards and to clear things. So anyway, so yeah, so you can see now why I think this totally like belonged in the Halloween series, but this is real and this just happened this week and it was a couple of days of like feeling really uncomfortable and getting very little sleep and not knowing what to do and then finally realizing, oh, this needs a firmer hand. So I hope that this enlightened you in some way, and please let me know in the comments if it did, if it helped, okay? Other than that, I just want to let you all know that Psychic Light is, keep your eye on my Instagram page because the newest round of Psychic Light is about to go live. We are going live in February, which means we're filling up seats now, starting Monday actually, which is tomorrow. So if you've been waiting, if you're on the wait list, you've already gotten a very secret special deal. If you're not on the wait list, don't worry, I got you. There's a really great deal coming for the public this week. So pay attention, check me out on Instagram, make sure you're following me over there. You can actually even just DM me if you want the details early. Just send me a DM over on Instagram and say Psychic Light, and I will give you the best of the best deals if you do that always, okay? But you want to get in soon because I don't have all the seats, you know what I mean? I can only take so many people each round, and I only run this like 2 times this year, or not this year, 2 times in 2023. And sometimes I can run it 3 times, but it's a big course. It's 4 months, right? So if you don't get in, then you have to wait. So make sure that if you want to get in this time around that you message me. Just a quick reminder on that, Psychic Light is a certified course, so it makes you certified in the clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. You get certified in written channeling, spoken channeling, which is my clean and ethical channeling. We're also doing trans channeling, which is really cool, light language, soul language. I know, it's a lot. Akashic records, yep. And the last one is astral travel. So all of the training happenings in 4 months, I have had like so many rounds of students tell me that it changes their lives, changes their business, everything. So maybe this is your next step, right? Okay, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.